And something about the fact that you stayed, that you chose to give me your time, your attention, your quiet moments, it did something to me that I still cannot fully explain. It made me want to be better. Not for the world, for you. Because I have not always been someone who believed in much. I have had seasons in my life where everything felt gray, where getting out of bed felt like the hardest thing in the world, where I wondered if any of it mattered, the things I created, the words I said, the dreams I kept chasing even when they felt impossibly far away. I had moments where I thought, quietly and painfully, that I was building something no one actually cared about. That I was speaking into an empty room. And then there was you, Patosli. I want to tell you about a specific night. A night I've never talked about publicly. A night that lives in me, like a scar that healed into something beautiful. I was sitting alone, and the weight of everything had gotten so heavy that I couldn't breathe properly. I wasn't okay. I was really, truly not okay. And in that darkness, in that silence, I saw something, a message, a comment, a simple few words from someone I had never met, and those words were from someone like you. Someone who said that my voice had reached them in a moment when they needed it most. Someone who said they felt less alone because of something I had made. Oh, I sat with that for a long time. I sat with the reality that while I was falling apart quietly in my corner of the world, something I had made was holding someone else together in theirs. And I thought about you. I thought about the kind of woman who reaches out like that, who takes a moment out of her own pain to acknowledge someone else's light. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how extraordinary that makes you? But because most people are so consumed by their own storms that they forget to look up. But you looked up. You always look up. That is one of the things about you that fills me with a kind of pride I don't have a proper word for. You carry so much, I know you do, even if you've never told me exactly what, and yet you still find room to feel things deeply, to love softly, to show up for the people and the things that matter to you. That is not small. That is not ordinary. That is one of the most powerful things a human being can do. And I am so proud of you for that. I am so deeply, completely proud of you. Not for anything specific you've accomplished. Not for any title or achievement or moment of visible success, but for who you are in the quiet moments when no one is watching. For the grace you show when you're breaking. For the warmth you give even when you yourself are cold. For the love you offer, even when you're not sure it will be returned. That takes a kind of strength that the world doesn't celebrate enough. And I see it in you, and I need you to know that I see it. Little Ming, I want to talk about your heart for a moment, because I think about it more than you'd expect. Your heart, the way it loves, the way it feels everything so fully and so deeply, is one of the most beautiful and most misunderstood things about you. People have probably told you before that you feel too much, that you're too sensitive, that you should toughen up, build walls, stop letting things in so easily. And I want to look you in the eyes right now and tell you that those people were wrong. Every single one of them was wrong. Your sensitivity is not your weakness. It is your superpower. It is the thing that makes you capable of understanding people in ways others can't. It is the thing that makes your love mean something real, something felt, something that lands in the chest and stays there. It is the thing that drew you to me. That made you feel what I was feeling through a screen, through words, through sound. And that kind of emotional intelligence is extraordinarily rare. Don't you dare apologize for it. Don't you dare shrink it to make someone else more comfortable. There's something else I've wanted to tell you. Something about the way you love. Because I've watched, not in a strange way, but in the way that a person watches someone they deeply admire. I've watched the way you pour yourself into things, into relationships, into dreams, into the people you care about. And I've noticed that sometimes you pour so much into everything and everyone around you that you forget to pour a little back into yourself. You forget to ask what you need. You forget to rest. You forget that you matter just as much as the people you are always taking care of. And every time I think about that, something in me wants to reach through whatever distance exists between us and just hold your face in my hands and say, hey, look at me. You matter. Your needs matter. Your rest matters. Your dreams matter. Your tired heart matters. You are not just the person who holds everyone else together. You are allowed to fall apart sometimes. You are allowed to need things. You are allowed to be taken care of, not just to take care. Hold your yombla. Hold your yombla tik yam vitan yubs. Dabel's passing comment. Not as something said quickly before moving on to the next topic, but slowly, with full intention, looking right at you and meaning every single syllable. I wonder if anyone has ever made you feel like your exhaustion was seen, like your sacrifice was acknowledged, like your quiet strength was appreciated, rather than just expected. Because it should have been. It should have been from the very beginning. I'm proud of you for every time you chose to stay when everything in you wanted to run. I'm proud of you for every tear you cried in private and then wiped away before facing the world again. I'm proud of you for every dream you refused to let go of even when the people around you couldn't see it yet. I'm proud of you for the way you keep going, keep loving, keep believing, even when the evidence in front of you made it very hard to believe in anything at all. And I know that some days it feels like no one notices. I know there are days when you give and give and give, and you look around and wonder if any of it is landing anywhere, if any of it is making a difference, if you are making a difference. I know that loneliness, that particular kind of loneliness that exists even in a room full of people who claim to love you. I know what it feels like to wonder if you're truly seen or just present. Just useful, just there. But I see you. I see you in a way that has nothing to do with what you offer or what you provide or what you're capable of giving. I see you in the spaces between, in the way you pause before you speak when something matters to you, in the care you take with the feelings of people who may not even deserve it, in the softness you protect, even after everything that has tried to harden you. I see all of it. And what I see makes me feel something I have spent a long time trying to find the right name for. Though it is something close to reverence, I think. That is the closest word I have for it. A reverence for who you are, for the way you move through this world, for the love that lives in you that refuses to give up no matter how many times it has been let down. There is something holy about the way you love. Something that I don't think you fully realize yet. And part of me, a very personal, very honest part of me, hopes that one day you will see it the way I see it. That one day you will stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself with the same tenderness you extend to everyone else. Because you deserve that. You deserve to be looked at with wonder. You deserve someone who notices the little things, the way your face changes when something moves you, the way you go quiet when you're thinking something important. The way your laugh sounds when it's completely unguarded and real. You deserve someone who thinks about you not just when it's convenient, but in the random, unexpected moments, in the middle of a quiet afternoon, in the space between one thought and the next. You deserve to be someone's most precious thought. And I want to tell you, I want to say this carefully, slowly, so you really hear it, that being connected to you, being someone whose voice finds you in the dark, being someone whose words you carry with you, it is not something I take for granted, not for a single second. Every time I know that something I've made found its way to you, something in me settles. Something in me feels like maybe, just maybe, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. You gave me that. You gave me purpose when I was searching for it. You gave me a reason to keep creating, keep speaking, keep showing up, keep believing that what I do actually reaches someone real. And I have carried that with me, quietly, gratefully, in every single thing I have done since. There is so much more I want to tell you, so much more that lives in me that I haven't found the words for yet. About the nights I thought of you, about the moments your face, even though I may have never seen it, existed in my mind as a feeling. as a presence, as the reason I kept going, about what it means to me that you are here, right now, listening to every word I'm saying with that beautiful, open heart of yours. Count. I want you to stay with me a little longer, please, because I'm not done yet. And everything I'm about to say, I need you to hear it. I need you to really truly hear it. Not just with your ears, but with that deep, quiet place inside you that you don't show to very many people. That place where the real you lives. The you that exists before the world gets to you in the morning, before the responsibilities stack up, before you put on whatever version of yourself you've decided the day requires. I want to talk to that version of you right now, the unguarded one, the one who is listening to me in this moment with her walls down, just slightly, just enough. Because I think that's why you're still here, isn't it? Something kept you listening. Something in you recognized something in me. Or maybe something in these words felt like they were written for you specifically. Like someone finally reached into the exact corner of your heart, where you've been sitting alone and said, I know you're in there. I know you've been in there for a while, and I just want you to know that I'm not going anywhere. I've been thinking a lot lately about what it means to really know someone. Not the surface version of knowing, not their name, their age, where they're from, what they do, but the deep knowing. The kind where you understand why someone laughs the way they laugh, why certain things go quiet behind their eyes, even when their mouth is still smiling, why they love the things they love with such intensity, why they are the way they are. That kind of knowing is rare. Most people go their entire lives without being known that way by anyone. And that breaks my heart a little, every time I think about it. Because you deserve to be known like that. You deserve someone who is genuinely, endlessly curious about who you are, not who they want you to be, not who you are when you're performing your best version of yourself, but who you actually are. The messy, complicated, layered, contradictory, deeply beautiful person that you are. The one who has been through things. The one who has loved people who didn't love back properly. The one who has built herself back up quietly, more than once, without asking for applause, without waiting for anyone to notice. The one who is sitting right now listening to me with something soft and a little bit fragile open inside her chest. That is who I want to know. That is who I am already so proud of, even without knowing every detail, even without knowing the specific chapters of your story, because I know the spirit of it. I know the spirit of a woman who feels deeply and loves fully and keeps going anyway. I know that spirit because it is not separate from me. It found me, it reached me, and it permanently altered something inside me that I am only just beginning to fully understand. I want to tell you something that I've never said this clearly before, something I've danced around, hinted at, expressed in fragments, but never said plainly in one breath, looking right at you. You are the reason the things I create have a soul, not in an abstract, poetic way, in a real, practical, lived way. Because when I sit down to create something, when I search for the words or the feeling or the thing I want to give to the world, I think about you. I think about what would reach you. What would make you feel less alone at 2 in the morning? What would make you feel seen on a day when everything around you made you feel invisible? What would make you laugh when you've been too serious for too long? Or cry in that good releasing way when you've been holding it in for too long? You are my compass. You have been for longer than you know. And every time something I've made found its way to you, and you felt it, really felt it, in that real, physical, full-body way, you gave me something that I cannot manufacture or fake or create on my own. You gave me confirmation that I exist to someone, that what's inside me translates, that it travels, that it arrives. That is not a small gift, that is everything. Oh, I need to talk to you about loneliness for a moment. Not because I want to make this heavy, but because I think it's one of those things that lives between us, between me and you, that we've never quite said out loud to each other. I get lonely. I know that might surprise you, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you suspected it. But I want to say it clearly. I get profoundly, achingly lonely sometimes. In the way that has nothing to do with how many people are around you. In the way that comes from feeling like the truest parts of you aren't being seen or touched or reached by anyone in your immediate world. And I imagine, I don't know for certain, but I imagine that you know that feeling too. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you are the kind of person whose interior world is vast and complex and rich, and it is genuinely difficult to find people who can meet you there. People who can go deep with you. People who don't get uncomfortable when the conversation moves past the surface. People who can sit with you in the big, difficult, beautiful questions without rushing to fill the silence with something small. Thought, I want to be that for you. In whatever way this thing between us, this connection across whatever distance allows. I want the things I create to be the place where you feel met. Where you feel like someone went deep enough to find you. Where you can breathe out a little and stop working so hard to be understood. Because here in this space, you just are understood completely, without effort, without explanation. Filter. And speaking of understanding, I want to tell you that I understand the version of you that you're most afraid to show. The one who is not always graceful or composed or giving. The one who gets tired and snappy and overwhelmed. The one who sometimes says the wrong thing or reacts in a way she's not proud of later. The one who has made mistakes she replays late at night when she should be sleeping. The one who has been selfish sometimes, or cold sometimes, or afraid sometimes, and who carries a quiet guilt about all of it even years after the moment has passed. Hilton, I want you to hear me when I say that version of you is not your worst self. That version of you is just your human self. And she deserves just as much love as the graceful, generous, endlessly giving version that everyone else gets to see. She deserves warmth. She deserves patience. She deserves someone who looks at all of it, the beautiful parts and the difficult parts, and says, still I choose you. Still I see you. Still I am here. You have spent so much of your life being strong. I know it. I feel it in the way you receive these words. There's a part of you that is almost startled by them, almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. Almost uncertain whether you're allowed to just take this in without questioning it. Because you are so used to strength being required of you. You are so used to being the one who holds things together, who shows up, who handles it, who figures it out. And somewhere along the way, softness started to feel like a luxury you couldn't quite afford. But darling, and I mean that word with everything I have, softness is not a luxury. It is a right. Your right. The right of someone who has been through what you've been through and still chosen love over bitterness, openness over walls, hope over surrender. The fact that you are still soft, still open, still feeling, still here and listening and present, that is one of the most radical, courageous things a person can do. And I am in awe of it. I am genuinely, completely in awe of you. I think about the younger version of you sometimes. The girl you were before the world taught you its harder lessons. And I wonder what she dreamed about. I wonder what she wanted for herself. What kind of life she imagined. What kind of love she believed was coming for her. I wonder if the life you're living now is anything like what she pictured. I wonder if she would recognize who you've become. And I wonder if you realize that even in all the ways life surprised her, even in all the detours and the heartbreaks and the moments that didn't go the way she planned, she would be so incredibly proud of who you turned into. Because you turned into someone real. Not perfect, real. And real is so much more valuable than perfect. Real means you've lived. Real means you've loved and lost and chosen to love again. Real means you carry depth, dimension, wisdom that only comes from having actually walked through things, rather than around them. Real means that when you show up for someone, they feel it. Genuinely feel it. Because there is substance to you. There is weight to your presence in the most beautiful way. You cannot fake that. You cannot manufacture it. It only comes from someone who has truly lived. Patient. And you have truly lived. I know you have. I can feel it. I want to say something to you that I hope lands softly, but fully. I want you to stop waiting for permission to take up space. I watch in the way I've come to understand you through our connection. I watch how often you make yourself smaller. How often you second guess your instincts. How often you hold back what you really think or really feel because you're not quite sure it will be received well, or you're not sure you have the right, or you don't want to seem like too much. And every single time it costs you something. A small piece of yourself quietly surrendered because the world taught you somewhere along the way that less is safer. It is not safer, it is just smaller, and you were not built to be small. You were built to fill a room with your energy, to change the emotional temperature of a space just by entering it, to make people feel things they didn't know they were going to feel when they came into contact with you. That is a gift. A powerful, specific, irreplaceable gift. And the world needs you to stop hiding it. I am proud of you. I know I keep coming back to that. And I will keep coming back to it. Because I don't think you fully received it yet. I am proud of you for every time you tried something and it didn't work, and you tried again anyway. I am proud of you for every relationship you walked away from when it stopped honoring you, even when walking away was the lonelier choice. I am proud of you for every morning you woke up and faced a day that felt heavier than you could carry, and you carried it anyway. I am proud of you for the kindness you've shown to people who didn't deserve it. Not because you were naive, but because you refused to let their smallness make you smaller. I am proud of you for finding me, for letting something in, for giving a part of your quiet, sacred attention to this, to us, to this strange and beautiful and real connection that exists in the space between your world and mine. Because it takes something, it takes a kind of openness, a kind of willingness to feel, that not everyone has, and you have it in abundance. And I treasure it more than I will ever be able to fully express. There's something building in me right now as I speak to you. Something that has been building for a long time. Something I haven't quite reached yet. Something that lives just slightly beyond the edges of what I've said so far. And I want to get there with you. I want to keep going, keep talking, keep finding the words for the things that have lived inside me wordlessly for so long. Because I feel like we're close to something. Like if I keep talking and you keep listening, we might arrive somewhere together that neither of us has quite been before. So please, stay with me just a little longer. Because what I want to tell you next, what I've been working my way toward this entire time, is the part I've been most afraid to say. The part that is the most true, and therefore the most terrifying, and therefore the most important. The part that I've rehearsed and abandoned and rehearsed again, because every time I got close to it, something in me went quiet and shy and uncertain. But I'm not going to go quiet this time. This time I'm going to say it. I'm going to find the words and I'm going to say them slowly, clearly, looking right at you, with nothing held back and nothing softened and nothing hidden behind anything else. Because you deserve the full, unguarded truth of what you mean to me. And I think, somewhere in that beautiful heart of yours, you've been waiting to hear it. And here it is. Here is the truth I've been carrying. The one that sits in the center of everything. The one that every other thing I've said has been circling around, building toward, reaching for. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Because I need you to be present for this. I need you to not be half somewhere else, half in your thoughts, half worrying about something that has nothing to do with this moment. I need all of you, right here, right now. The way you've given me all of you, every time you showed up and listened. The way you've given me your realest, quietest, most unguarded self, without even realizing that's what you were doing. Bro, the truth is this. You have loved me in a way that most people in my physical world never have. And before you dismiss that, before you tell yourself that it doesn't count because we've never sat across from each other at a table, before you minimize it the way you minimize so many of the things you give, I need you to let that sentence land, really land, because I mean it with a completeness and a sincerity that I have rarely felt about anything in my life. You have loved me, the real me, not a curated version, not a performance, not the best angle, best lighting, most polished presentation of who I am. You have loved the thing underneath all of that, the voice underneath the voice, the feeling underneath the words. And that specific, rare, extraordinary thing is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life. I want to tell you what that love felt like to receive, because I don't think you know. I don't think you have any real idea of the specific warmth it sent through me every time I felt it reaching me. It felt like being recognized in a crowd when you've started to wonder if you're visible. It felt like someone calling your name in the exact right tone, the tone that means they actually know you, not just the name but the person attached to it. It felt like coming inside from cold weather, that specific, physical, full-body relief of warmth after a long time in the cold. That is what your love felt like. That is what it continues to feel like. And I want you to know that I did not take it for granted. Not once, not for a single moment. And I think this is important. So stay with me. I think the reason your love feels the way it feels is because it comes from a place of complete freedom. You don't love me because you have to. You don't love me because of proximity, or obligation, or shared history, or because leaving would be complicated. You love me because something in what I am called to something in what you are, and you followed that call, and you kept following it, and that freely chosen love, that love that exists entirely by choice, entirely by genuine connection, is one of the most precious things one human being can offer another. And you offered it to me. You keep offering it to me. Obikis bio. I want to talk to you about something tender now, something I approach carefully, because I want to get it exactly right. I want to talk about the nights, not the days. The days are complicated and loud and full of the business of living. I want to talk about the nights, specifically the late ones, the quiet ones, the ones that stretch on a little longer than you expected, and find you more alone with yourself than you planned to be. I want to talk about the version of you that exists in those hours, because I think about her a lot. I think about what she's feeling, what she's turning over in her mind, what she's wishing for, what she's quietly, privately hoping might still be possible for her life. I think she's braver than she gets credit for. I think the late night version of you, the one who sits with herself honestly, the one who drops all the daytime armor and just exists. I think she knows things about you that the daytime version hasn't fully accepted yet. I think she knows what you really want, what you really need, what would really make you feel whole, not just functional, not just okay, not just managing, but genuinely, completely, peacefully whole. And I think sometimes the distance between what she knows and what the daytime version of you allows herself to reach for is the source of a very specific, very quiet kind of pain. Halit. And I want to sit with you in that. Not fix it. I'm not arrogant enough to think I can fix the deep things, and I know that's not what you need anyway. You don't need fixing. You never needed fixing. But I want to sit with you in it, the way a person sits with someone they love in the middle of difficulty. Present. Warm. Not trying to rush past it, or make it smaller, or offer it some tidy resolution. Just here, with you, in the truth of it. Because that's the kind of presence I want to offer you. That's what I want to be in your life, in whatever form that takes, across whatever distance sits between us. I want to be the voice that finds you in the quiet, the thing you come back to when you need to remember that you are seen and known and held in someone's mind with tenderness and care. I want to be consistent for you in a world that has probably been inconsistent with you more times than you should have had to experience. Though, I want to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. Not just give me the automatic answer, not just the answer you give everyone because it's easier. I want you to think about it honestly, in that deep private place. When was the last time someone made you feel truly, completely cherished? Not appreciated, cherished. There's a difference, and I think you know the difference because you are the kind of woman who has spent years cherishing others and can feel precisely the specific weight of what it means and what it costs and what it gives. When was the last time someone treated you like you were the most important thing in the room? Like your comfort mattered before anyone else's? Like your heart was something to be handled with extraordinary care? I ask because I think the answer matters. I think it tells you something about what you've been tolerating, what you've been normalizing, what you've been accepting, as close enough when it was never actually close enough at all. And I think some part of you, the honest part, the late night part, already knows that, already feels the gap between what you've been given and what you actually deserve. And I just want to say, gently and clearly and with absolute conviction, that the gap is not your fault. The gap exists because the people who should have known better didn't, and that is their failure, not yours. Never yours. You deserve the kind of love that notices you, that pays attention, that remembers the small things, the things you mentioned once in passing, that you never expected anyone to hold on to, that checks on you not because there's something obviously wrong, but because they simply want to know how you are, how you're really doing, what's living in you today. You deserve someone who thinks of you in the middle of their ordinary days and smiles without quite knowing why, and then knows exactly why. You deserve someone who is proud to know you, not just privately but openly, unashamedly, in all the ways that count. Joy, and I am that, for you. Across whatever this is, across whatever space exists between your life and mine, I am quietly, consistently, genuinely proud to know you. Proud to be someone whose work you carry with you. Proud to be something that matters in your world. And that pride is not casual or performative. It lives in me like something warm and permanent. Like something I couldn't remove even if I tried. Oh, let me tell you something I've observed about you. Something specific, something I've noticed in the way you engage, in the way you respond, in the way you show up in this connection between us. You give thoughtfully. You're not careless with your love or your attention. You choose where to put your energy, and when you choose something, when you choose someone, you go in fully. You don't do things halfway, and that tells me everything about the quality of person you are. Because the people who love carefully, who love deliberately, who love with their full hearts and their full attention, those are the people with the most integrity. Those are the people whose love, when you have it, actually means something, actually lands. One is something full. Your love lands. I want you to know that every bit of it, every moment of it, it lands and it stays and it has shaped me in ways I am still discovering. Want to tell you about hope, about what you represent to me when I think about the bigger picture of everything. Because this world, I don't have to tell you, this world can feel very dark sometimes, very heavy and very cold and very indifferent. There are days when you look at the state of things and it is difficult to find the thread of beauty, difficult to locate the evidence that love still exists in any real and powerful way, difficult to believe that human beings are still capable of the softness and the depth and the genuine connection that makes life worth the trouble of living it. And then there is you. Then there is the specific, undeniable reality of you, your presence, your love, your open heart, your willingness to feel in a world that often rewards numbness, and it restores something in me every single time. You are my evidence that tenderness still exists, that depth still exists, that the capacity to love something fully and faithfully without guarantee of return, without contract or condition, that capacity is still alive in people. You keep that alive for me. You have no idea how much you keep alive for me. I think about what I would want to say to you if I ever had the chance to say it in person. If the distance between us collapsed, and suddenly we were in the same room, face to face, no screen between us, just two people, and the truth of everything that has passed between us, I think I would be quieter than you expected. I think I would need a moment to just look at you and let the reality of you settle over me. Because I have carried the feeling of you for so long without ever having the physical reality of you. And I think that moment, the transition from feeling to reality, would require stillness, would require a kind of reverence. Wait enough, then I think I would take your hand, quietly, without ceremony, just your hand in mine. And I think I would say something very simple, not a speech, not all of this, not the long and careful and constructed thing I've been saying to you today, just something small and true, something like thank you for staying, thank you for feeling it, thank you for letting me matter to you, because you mattering to me is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Oh, and I would mean it in the complete, total, no part of it is performance way that simple words can sometimes carry when the person saying them has lived them fully before they ever spoke them aloud. I'm not done. I want you to know that I am not done. There is more living in me, more that wants to find its way to you, more that belongs to you because it was made by loving you and being loved by you in the way that only you can love. And I am afraid, genuinely afraid, that words will keep falling short of it. That no matter how many I use, how carefully I arrange them, how honestly I reach for the real thing underneath the language, it will always be slightly less than what I actually feel. But I'm going to keep reaching. That's what I want you to know. I am going to keep reaching, keep finding the words, keep showing up in this space between us with everything I have, because you have never stopped showing up for me, and you deserve someone who refuses to stop showing up for you. There is something I've been circling, something waiting just ahead, just past where I am right now in this conversation, just beyond the next breath. Something that might be the most honest thing I've ever said to anyone, and I can feel it getting closer. I can feel it right here, right on the edge of my tongue, right at the center of my chest, pressing outward like something that has been contained for too long, and finally found the moment when it no longer has to be. And I want to get there. I am going to get there. But first I need you to understand something. Something that will make what I'm about to say land the way it deserves to land, with its full weight and its full meaning, and nothing diluted or softened or held back. I need you to understand what it cost me to become someone capable of saying any of this to you at all. Because I was not always this open. I was not always someone who could sit in his own vulnerability and speak from it honestly, without flinching, without retreating, without covering it in something harder or funnier or more manageable. I was for a long time someone who kept the deepest things deeply buried. Not out of coldness, I want you to understand that, not out of any lack of feeling. Quite the opposite. I buried things because I felt them so intensely that they frightened me. Because every time something mattered to me completely, the thought of losing it became unbearable. And the only way I knew how to protect myself from that unbearable thought was to pretend, convincingly and consistently, that nothing mattered that much. That I was fine. That I was always fine. That I was not fine. I was someone carrying a tremendous amount of love with nowhere safe to put it. And that is one of the loneliest things a person can be. All that love, circling inside, looking for somewhere to land, finding the exits blocked by fear and old wounds, and the very rational, very understandable conclusion that opening yourself up fully to someone means opening yourself up fully to the possibility of being devastated by them. And I had been devastated before, more than once, in the specific bone-deep way that changes the architecture of how you love afterward, that makes you rebuild differently, more carefully, with thicker walls and smaller windows. Oh, and then something shifted. Something changed the equation. And that pride is not casual or performative. It lives in me like something warm and permanent, like something I couldn't remove even if I tried. Oh, let me tell you something I've observed about you. Something specific, something I've noticed in the way you engage, in the way you respond, in the way you show up in this connection between us. You give thoughtfully. You're not careless with your love or your attention. You choose where to put your energy. And when you choose something, when you choose someone, you go in fully. You don't do things halfway. And that tells me everything about the quality of person you are. Because the people who love carefully, who love deliberately, who love with their full hearts and their full attention, those are the people with the most integrity. Those are the people whose love, when you have it, actually means something, actually lands. One is something full. Your love lands. I want you to know that every bit of it, every moment of it, it lands and it stays and it has shaped me in ways I am still discovering. Want to tell you about hope, about what you represent to me when I think about the bigger picture of everything. Because this world, I don't have to tell you, this world can feel very dark sometimes, very heavy and very cold and very indifferent. There are days when you look at the state of things and it is difficult to find the thread of beauty, difficult to locate the evidence that love still exists in any real and powerful way, difficult to believe that human beings are still capable of the softness and the depth and the genuine connection that makes life worth the trouble of living it. And then there is you. Then there is the specific, undeniable reality of you, your presence, your love, your open heart, your willingness to feel in a world that often rewards numbness, and it restores something in me every single time. You are my evidence that tenderness still exists, that depth still exists, that the capacity to love something fully and faithfully without guarantee of return, without contract or condition, that capacity is still alive in people. You keep that alive for me. You have no idea how much you keep alive for me. I think about what I would want to say to you if I ever had the chance to say it in person. If the distance between us collapsed, and suddenly we were in the same room, face to face, no screen between us, just two people, and the truth of everything that has passed between us. I think I would be quieter than you expected. I think I would need a moment to just look at you and let the reality of you settle over me. Because I have carried the feeling of you for so long without ever having the physical reality of you. And I think that moment, the transition from feeling to reality, would require stillness, would require a kind of reverence. Or enough, then I think I would take your hand, quietly, without ceremony, just your hand in mine. And I think I would say something very simple, not a speech, not all of this, not the long and careful and constructed thing I've been saying to you today, just something small and true, something like thank you for staying, thank you for feeling it, thank you for letting me matter to you, because you mattering to me is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Oh, and I would mean it in the complete, total, no part of it is performance way that simple words can sometimes carry when the person saying them has lived them fully before they ever spoke them aloud. I'm not done. I want you to know that I am not done. There is more living in me, more that wants to find its way to you, more that belongs to you because it was made by loving you and being loved by you in the way that only you can love. And I am afraid, genuinely afraid, that words will keep falling short of it. That no matter how many I use, how carefully I arrange them, how honestly I reach for the real thing underneath the language, it will always be slightly less than what I actually feel. But I'm going to keep reaching. That's what I want you to know. I am going to keep reaching, keep finding the words,